back again for another live. So if you guys didn't know, this week, actually July 20th through the 30th, I am doing the Holistic Health Bundle with a bunch of other people, and we have teamed up with the top doctors, nutritionists, holistic health practitioners to give you guys an amazing deal. Guys, there's over 117 ebooks and guides in this bundle. It's valued at over $8,000 and it's available for $50. There is no catch, there is no scam. It is awesome, okay? It is a full resource of everything that you guys could think about for natural and holistic health. All right, hi you guys. I see people popping on here. I'm not sure what that means. Someone asked a question. I don't know what that is. Okay, but anyway, so back to the Holistic Health Bundle. So yes, guys, this is an amazing deal. The link is in my bio, and the only catch is that it's only available till July 30th. After that, everything goes back to full price. So if you're thinking about, wanting to educate yourself, you're looking for resources for natural holistic health, the Holistic Bundle is definitely the way to go. So again, link in bio for that. And I am going to be bringing Stacy on here in just a minute. Hi guys, I see you. Okay. Hi guys. Yes, I see you. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm just waiting for Stacy to join on. So if you guys want to ask any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat, or if you have anything for me, let me know. Okay, I don't know what that is. Tins. I don't know what that means, so I'll have to look that up, or you guys will have to explain that to me a little bit better. I haven't heard of that, to be honest. So, all right. So while we're waiting for Stacy, do you guys have any questions? Feel free to drop those in the chat. A recipe for diverticulitis. I do not have one up. I do have one. I can post that, so I will get that out there. Make a note for that. But let's talk about diverticulitis while we're waiting. All right. So when you're dealing with any issues in the colon, that is a big sign that your gut is severely damaged. In addition to that, now you are going into the colon area. So this tells me that you have a lot of mucus in the colon, a lot of mucoid plaque in the colon as well. And you absolutely need to do a colon cleanse. What I would recommend for that is doing grapes, lemon to help flush those toxins out of the body. And then also think about, getting rid of the acid mucus forming foods, which are help feeding the diverticulitis as well. So here comes Stacy. So again, guys, feel free to drop any questions in the chat and I will go through those. Okay.
Hi, you don't know. I had such trouble finding you. Hi,
Evie. Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? So many people are live right now with this bundle. I was like, oh my God, where is she?
No, it's okay. Don't worry.
Are you guys talking about cleansing?
Yes, someone had dropped a comment that was asking for a juice recipe for diverticulitis, and I was telling them that tells me the colon is severely backed up and definitely clogged with mucus-forming foods. So I would definitely recommend grape and lemon to help flush that out. In addition to that, removing the mucus-forming foods that are feeding that into the diverticulitis colon area region. So.
Yeah.
All right, so with that being said, Stacy, thank you so much for doing a live with me today. Why don't you just go ahead and give us a little bit of background about you and tell us a little about your story into holistic health.
Yeah, well, hello. I'm a holistic nutritionist and plant-based coach. That is what I do. I went to school for exercise science and kind of, all of this stuff, mind-body connection and nutrition kind of all really works together, in addition to mindset and all of the holistic pillars, which are what I teach. I have 5 pillars that I teach about that have to do with holistic living, and they are body nourishment, belief system, honoring earth, mind-body connection, and success environment. And when we pull all of those together, we can really take a full approach. And there's all these different topics, underneath each pillar. But it's a really good way to take a bird's eye view of our life and our wellness and try to heal from root cause issues. So I started my journey toward optimal wellness. Like I think it started from childhood, really, now that I'm looking back at everything and really realizing, oh man, like that was really setting me up for not so much success, and yeah, so it really started at a young age. But I really started to wake up around, I don't know, 15 years ago, and I started doing Pilates, and I started to connect my body. And at that time, I was drinking copious amounts of alcohol. Prior to that, I had been on Adderall for over a decade. I was taking Zoloft because I had anxiety, had terrible gut issues. I had really hit rock bottom. And once I started doing Pilates and feeling my body, I was able to understand that, oh, if I eat these specific foods, I'm going to go and do Pilates, I don't feel really well. But if I eat better, I do feel better. So I really started to tackle nutrition and started to heal and get off the medications that I was on. And, it's just been a full lifelong, journey to where we are now. And what I've really realized, Evie, is that it's not just diet and it's not just exercise. It's so much more than that, and we have to take a full integrated approach to really understand holistic healing. So, I really did struggle with tons of gut issues growing up. Really thought that they were normal, thought that it was normal to feel crappy after eating, thought it was normal to feel tired and want to sleep just after having a meal. And that's not normal. It's common, but it's not normal, right? So I think a lot of people out there are just wanting to find answers. So I wanted to be part of a solution and have gone on to study nutrition, and in addition to my, movement education, and really realize that it's just so much more than diet and exercise. So that's the message that I want to get across. But you and I are in this incredible bundle, and I want to know more about your contribution too. But I decided for this holistic health bundle that you and I are part of, which is so awesome that you and I get to connect through this, by the way. It's so nice to meet you. Hello. Within this, I really learned that, like I said, it started from childhood, like all the things, like not to say that I had a terrible upbringing, but like trauma and, again, gut issues and, the foods I was eating, the kid cuisines and the boxes of toaster strudels that I used to eat, like, oh my God, destroying not only my body, but my mind, right? And so when I had our son, who is 6 years old, or actually well before it, I decided I wasn't going to raise him the same way at all. Things were going to be very different. So for this holistic health bundle, I decided that I was going to make something for kids. But the coolest thing about it is that it's good for adults too, because it's just a reiteration of the teachings of holistic living and tapping into more whole foods, which is incredibly important for our well-being. And so I created a little mini video course called Nurturing Nature, empowering kids to live a holistic and plant-based life. So that was a really long answer, but that's where we're at.
No, I love it. That's great. That's so awesome. And actually that was one of the things I was going to bring up is about kids' nutrition. So, my kids, I had 2 kids in 2 years. I have 2 girls. And I will tell you, when they were babies, I was not vegan yet. So they did have, like eggs and cheese and things like that. But they have never had meat ever their entire life. They don't want to eat it. And I'm very thankful for that. Yes, it looks like she is walking on a treadmill. Yes.
I am. I'm sorry.
No.
I've had some much watermelon today, guys. My blood sugar is like up there, and I'm just like hydrated and ready to go. And I like to burn my fuel a little bit.
I love it. That's awesome. Work it, girl. Yes. um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so, like my girls, I've asked them, like, do you guys ever want to try it? And they said no. And I mean, that's fine. But them understanding, like, really, they know and understand, like, about chemicals and dyes. Like, they know at school we don't eat the treats they give because they have red dye 40 and, processed sugar and things like that. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, so can you talk to us a little bit about, what you had here with kids nutrition and tips for, keeping your family to eat healthy?
Yeah, I do a nutrition talk, and to be honest, Evie, I don't remember what I said because I talk about this all the time. But I'm sure that I mentioned the importance of whole food nutrition, whole food plant nutrition. It's just so important. We know that, like you said, I mean, processed sugar and food dyes and refined flours and inflammatory oils and excessive sodium are wreaking havoc on our body, not just, again, our physical body, but our mind, the way that we show up in the world, the energy levels that we have. And it's just, I personally, I've been diving deep into this for the last few years about processed food addiction and just food addiction in general to help my clients better. But really, food addiction is typically always processed food. It's not like we have addiction to fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
Like, eat those in abundance, right? Like, those are what support the body so much. But it's really about this addiction to these refined sugars and, again, flour and even caffeine and high sodium and oils. It's like we reach this new bliss point when we combine oil and salt or oil and sugar. This fat salt combination, this fat sugar combination that's creating this dopamine release in our head really early on for our children, and then you grow into this food addiction, which is what I totally struggled with. And I really just I've been plant-based for like 15 years, but like it's been a complete journey. Like I started, with making the vegan cupcakes and all of the good stuff, right? Like, and I still make vegan cupcakes, but they're no longer made with sugar. They're not even made with naturally occurring maple and honey. They're actually made with dates. Like, they're made with whole fruit, right? Like, and I've really understood the importance of incorporating fiber-bound sugar, right? Like the whole fruit. And that's how I've raised our child. So in the Nurturing Nature contribution that I did, the mini video course, I have recipes in there. I also do a nutrition talk, just talking kind of about this, like how it's so important when we raise our children that we are giving them whole foods. Why? Because from the get-go, they're going to fall victim to societal norms, which is currently high sugar, high oil, high salt, and tons of flour. Now, I'm not demonizing flour, but it does raise our blood sugar higher than if we were to eat the whole grain itself, for instance, right? And so I'm just super mindful of that because my taste buds were hijacked at a really early age. I remember that I would wait the whole week because I knew on Sunday mornings before church we would go, or maybe it was after church, I don't know. We would go and we would get Dunkin' Donuts, and I would eat those Dunkin' Donut holes like it was just the best freaking thing in the world. And like, if my mom would have allowed me, I would have eaten way more than I don't know. I think we would get like a box of a dozen, and like we would get to choose our own flavors. Those things were gone. Like by the time I got home, I mean, I used to eat toaster strudels by the box. I'm not even joking you. Like, I had some hardcore processed food and sugar addiction. And like, I see that happening with children so much these days. It's everywhere. And like, it's on billboards and it's normalized that you go and you take your kids to McDonald's, and you let them play in the play place, and it's a happy place to be. And there's just advertisements everywhere. There's Disney characters on junk food, making this seem like it's a happy thing to give our children. It's not. And what it's doing is it's causing early onset diabetes. As a nutritionist and as somebody who helps clients who are dealing with diabetes, overweight, and obesity, I mean, I am not fat shaming here, but overweight and obesity, like, it is a pandemic. It's an epidemic. It's not good, and it's only getting worse. And the only reason this is happening is because of these highly palatable dopamine releasing foods, right? And so I just feel it very much on my heart that I want to help children from the get-go, and so that they don't have to become my client type of person, right?
Yeah.
So I really focus on whole food plant nutrition. There is some tofu in the recipe book, but that's like that's as processed as it gets, and it always has to be organic, that's for sure. So yeah, we live a whole food, plant-based, and without added salt, oil, sugar as much as possible over here in this corner of our house, because not just me, but my husband also definitely struggled with the processed food addiction. Somebody's saying something about chips. Okay, there's kids that wake up on juice and chips alone. Like, let's talk about chips. Yeah. There are people out there. I just got done with another nutrition certification through the Food Revolution Network. It was mind-blowing. It was so good. And we learned about not only food addiction, but also about how this all happens. And there's people out there, they're called craveability experts. And like I was saying earlier on, when we eat these foods, these processed foods, these chips, these fried foods, they create a new bliss point for us. So then when we go and we eat, like, instead of a corn chip, we go and we eat a corn tortilla, maybe a tortilla that doesn't have any added salt. It tastes like nothing to us because our taste buds have created this new bliss point. And there are people behind the reason why you can't just have one Pringle. And they're called craveability experts. Mm-hmm. And they are paid the big bucks to make sure that you don't just eat one, that you eat the whole container or half of it or whatever, and you come back for more, and you come back for more, and you wait the whole week like I did with Dunkin' Donuts. Like, it's literally like you have to have it. And I mean, I was victim to I know that Siete tortilla chips, right? Like, those are better than Ruffles because they're maybe like organic and they use like avocado oil. But the truth is they're still fried. There's still a ton of sodium and they're still super addicting. And like, I mean, you could catch me when I was pregnant waiting on the days that I would go to Whole Foods to eat the samples. Like, I would go to get my groceries, but I would just stand by the salsa and chips. Like, it just has a grip on. I mean, if I fall into that again, like, I could easily slip right in there again. And so many people are dealing with that. So I decided I'm not gonna set my child up that way. So we do things differently.
Good. That is good, and I'm inspired by that. You know, I'll tell you. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like, my kids have never had fast food. They don't even want it. They don't want to try it. I even asked them, I'm like, what if someone brought McDonald's to your school and like Happy Meals, and they're both like, no, we would never have it. I'm like, yes, thank God.
How old are they?
The one's about to be 7 and the other one's 8.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I'm very thankful for that. Now, you know, guys, if you're just joining in, Stacey and I are talking about, we're both part of the Holistic Health Bundle, and both of us have links in our bios. This is going to be where you're going to get expert advice, nutrition, doctor detox approved formulas, all kinds of courses and guides to help guide you naturally and holistically to heal yourself, and then also learn about kids' nutrition and holistic health as well. So feel free to check that out. Okay, so someone, I was talking to them about you, and they told me to ask you, what are your thoughts on raw versus cooked food?
Ooh, I love this question. That's a really great question. I actually told Ben Rowley, who actually helped put this whole holistic bundle together. He's a friend of mine, and he was, I was telling him that for this bundle, that's like so limited time availability, I'm actually going to go raw for the 10 days because I need the energy to show up on interviews like with you and to inspire the people. And actually yesterday I wasn't raw. I actually fell victim to my really good zucchini brownies, which are actually going to be in the bundle. I'm adding it to the bundle. So you guys will get to. They're totally date sweetened, made with organic gluten-free oats that you just turn into flour. Like, they're really good. But I totally had more than I wanted. I had a bite yesterday. I was on the news and I was showing them. I was like, this is how you use your summer zucchini. And then I had a bite after the thing and I was like, okay, I'm having a few. Now, good thing they're good for me and, you know, I don't feel like crap after eating them. But here's the deal with raw and cooked. If you really want energy, if you want like high level energy, I'm just going to go like talk non-scientifically right now. Going raw creates a whole entire new vibration for you. So if you want to cleanse the body, I would focus on, you know, lots of raw fruits and leafy greens, whether you're purposely doing this for a few days to kind of give your digestive system a break, or what. Maybe you take it a full month and you just want to give yourself like a complete reset. Go for it. But through my studies, I did for, you know, many years think that like raw is the best. But the more and more that I learn, the more I understand that there is room for raw and cooked. And I really prefer, I love starch. Not gonna lie, like I love sweet potatoes. I love potatoes. I also do like grains and beans, but I really love fruits and vegetables. You know, non-starchy vegetables as well. But the most important thing, I think, versus staying raw or cooked, is that we get a diversity of plants that we're eating. So, like gastroenterologist Dr. Will Bolsewitz created the book called Fiber Fueled. It was a best-selling, you know, New York Times best-selling book, packed with like hundreds and hundreds of studies showing the benefits of a myriad of plants. And whether they're cooked or raw, you're going to want to go for like 30 different plants every single week to help diversify your gut microbiome and help create postbiotics, which can heal the gut lining and strengthen the gut and the immune system simultaneously. So I think what's more important than asking if raw or cooked is better, I think that getting all whole plants is more important. So wherever you can start is really awesome, just by adding whole plants into your daily eating pattern, and then work your way up to maybe all whole plants if you can. And then if you want to go raw, that's great. And I think that you can find a healthy raw diet, but you won't be getting the beans and the grains unless you're sprouting them, which you can absolutely do, and I do. But I think there's room for both. What about you, Evie? What do you think?
Well, I will say I'm totally in agreement as far as raising your vibration, because I did do raw for a year.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Like I honestly felt so good. I'm a hardcore weightlifter, so I wanted to test my strength to see if I could make gains on my lifts, like with just, fruits, juice, plants. And I did. I got my deadlift up to 255, and I even, like, now my deadlift is 275, but I am eating cooked foods again. And, the difference I could tell is that, I still feel good, but sometimes depending on what I have, like if it's like the other night I had like a lot of potatoes and then a big thing of veggies and it was all cooked. And I felt fine afterwards, but sometimes I do feel like you could tell it's taking longer to digest, or you might get a little bit, tired or fatigue or whatever. But overall, yes, I agree with you. Like when you start consuming live living foods that are filled with life force energy, phytonutrients, biophotons, all the things, you're getting all of these vitamins on such a high level, and absolutely it raises your vibration. And then I feel like once you get to that point and you really understand that, you don't really desire to consume the foods that were bringing you down previously. You know what I mean? Because you could tell such a difference, in your gut flora, and then also your digestion, and then overall, like the way you feel. Sometimes I have had people like, say raw, it's the only way, and that's it or whatever. And I was like, but I still definitely, I mean, I'm Puerto Rican, so I grew up on rice and beans. That's
Yeah.
like Hispanic households, just that's what we eat, like every meal pretty much. And I love rice and beans, but I didn't know until I was older that, it's highly mucus forming, and, it's not good to be eating that like the way I was. And then I still like my cultural foods and dishes, but I have definitely broken away up from a lot of Hispanic foods because they're so unhealthy. They're deep fried. I did make a plant-based version of what we call sancocho, which is like a Puerto Rican stew that's usually made with beef. But I made a plant-based version and it was bomb. And I just think like culturally too, that's another thing. Like when you look at different cultures, like in Hispanics, for example, Puerto Rican, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans that get Alzheimer's and dementia. And then when you look back to like what we're eating, goes back to like the rice, the arsenic, that kind of stuff. And a lot of the Caribbean islands, you see a lot of people that are suffering from those kind of diseases. And the same thing, like when you look at Africans, their diseases, Asian people, their different types of diseases. And it goes back to what is like the main food that they're consuming, and then you look at a lot of these, like, for example, I'm sure you know about the China study. And when you look at that and then you understand it from that level, like, okay, this makes sense. You know what I mean? Like you're looking at the correlation and the statistics of, we're eating these foods. They're absolutely causing heart disease, all kinds of sickness, inflammation, and things like that. So sometimes I feel people put the dots together, but then they have a really hard time breaking away because it is hard, you guys, like to break a habit, first of all, and then to start consuming foods that might not taste good. So like you said earlier, your palate is so different because when you're used to consuming highly acidic mucus forming foods, alkaline rich foods probably don't taste good to I saw, it was a meme where it was a woman, she was like eating, I think, a Brussels sprout, and she was just dry heaving and gagging or whatever. Just, she like couldn't take the smell. And I'm thinking like, I love Brussels sprouts, but I understand like coming from that point where people just are so repulsed by that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is something, I feel like once you learn and educate, which brings me back to the holistic bundle, that is another way, you guys, to learn about foods and, think about the foods that you're consuming. What are you bringing into your body? Your body is your temple. And then think about high vibrational foods. They lift you up. They make you feel good versus low vibrational foods like meats, dairy, starches, those kind of things. They bring your vibration down. They take so long to process. In addition to that, alcohol. Alcohol is so toxic. I mean, as we know, it is a poison, but it also lowers your vibration, and then think about your organs. What is that doing to all of your organs, and then your lymphatic system, are you filtering properly? So I really try to, be open-minded with certain things like that. But at the end of the day, I feel like raw is absolutely amazing. And if you're on a true healing path from any type of sickness, disease, or ailment, I totally believe raw is the absolute way to go. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sprouting, I think, is really powerful too, sprouting. So, like, if you wanted to get the different phytonutrients from, like, beans or even, like, wild rice, you can sprout it and make it living, and you're, like, I don't know if it's, like, tripling or what, but, like, you're seriously maximizing and absolutely increasing everything that are within those foods, those beans and those grains. Like you're increasing the fiber, you're increasing the protein, you're increasing all of the antioxidants, and it's wild and amazing what happens to a food or a seed when you sprout it. So yeah, I just think I agree. I mean, it's a totally different way of living if you want to eat like high raw or raw. And for some people, it might be like overwhelming at first, but I do believe it's definitely part of maximum healing.
Absolutely. And yeah, you know what, to be honest with you, I'm not really on the sprouting game. I know I need to get on it. I buy it, but I need to like do it myself,
Oh,
which leads me into the next thing is that I have a big garden. I know you're into gardening too. This year I expanded my garden, and it's so rewarding growing your own food, and the taste is just so good. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about growing your own food, and give us some garden tips, some pro tips to help us with our gardens.
well, yes, this is something that I not only teach my clients, but also like we live this lifestyle. So I first off, I'm a huge sprouter. So before I get into the farming and gardening thing, I sprout a lot of things, and it's so fun. And I even sprout so much that I have like a dish drying rack, a stainless steel dish drying rack, to hold different, like I can hold 6 different varieties of sprouts at one time.
Love it. I've seen those.
It's
That's
so
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
So I probably suggest everybody just goes and gets some sprouts. I was actually going to put that in my mini video course, but we didn't get to that. But like sprouting is a really fun thing for kids to do because they feel empowered because they get involved in the kitchen and they're taking a seed to a full plant, and they're able to eat it, which is so fun. So that's like the basic of gardening. Let's start there. Like when you sprout a seed and you turn it into something else magnificent that you can eat, like it's very empowering, and you literally become so much more confident in what you're eating because you know that you've grown it yourself. So for us, we have a farm, and we actually grow produce and sell to the farmers market. So we've been gardening for over a decade and decided that we wanted to help get, fresh produce to our local community. So some of the tips that I have, like I think that everybody should, regardless if you live in an apartment and you can, just use the power of light from a window, or maybe you even need to buy some grow lights. You can garden anywhere. You can grow your own food anywhere. They have those tower gardens. People have told me multiple times that I need to sell tower gardens. I'm like, that is kind of a good idea, because for people who can't grow in the soil or, have limited space, like it's one of the, you can see like people growing a whole bunch of stuff in those tower gardens, right? But I think that the most important thing is that you start. I know that's not a tangible takeaway to start growing your own food, but like finding some good quality seeds, definitely recommend finding non-GMO. If you can find organic, do that. Plan a little bit ahead, like what am I going to do? Like we're here in Indiana. Where are you, Evie?
I'm in Indiana too.
What? Where are you?
I live in Lowell, Northwest Indiana, by Crown Point.
What? Well, we need to meet.
Yes,
we can have.
I know. And you know what? Actually, my brother lives in Fishers.
Oh,
and,
yeah, that's like 10 minutes away from us.
Yeah, that's awesome, girl. Where are you at?
We're in Noblesville.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have friends in Noblesville, Westfield. Yeah, all down there. Carmel.
Oh, yeah, I grew up in Carmel, so
okay.
That's nice. Crazy. That's amazing. So we're in an area right now. So like if you're in the Midwest, you can still plant some seeds. So you can still plant some herbs. You could plant some zinnia flowers. They'll be harvestable in like September or October. You could still put some cilantro in the ground. But I think it's important to get some good seeds and to make a decision that you're going to nurture what you're doing. So it takes a little bit of intention to grow food successfully. And friends and clients have been like, I just killed it all. And I'm like, well, did you show up every day and did you water it just like your body, right? Like the seeds need a little bit of taking care of. So regardless if you buy plants that have already been grown from seed for you, maybe at the local nursery, or you start your own seeds, you have to take care of it. Do you have to fertilize your plants? Not necessarily. They might do really well if you have a good quality soil and you're watering it and it gets ample sunshine. But I think that it's really just important to start and make the intention that you're going to show up every day and you're going to nurture these plants until they provide whatever you're growing for you. And it's so rewarding, but it's also very challenging to grow your own food, because the only downside is that you only get one chance typically every year, right? Like if you screw the zucchini up, or if the zucchini gets like a virus or something, you have to wait till the next year, or maybe you just let them all die and you don't water them enough. I think that you just really have to be intentional and to pull the weeds if weeds are growing and crowding out your plants, and to make the decision to start. What are you growing this year?
Yeah. So I have pumpkins, zucchini, 3 different types of tomatoes, Thai basil, purple basil, lemon basil, corn, cucumber, red watermelons, yellow watermelons, cilantro, dill, and a couple more things, I think. But yes, those are the basic.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Well, with your background, you would know about epazote, right? You know
No, I don't know about it.
Epazote is a green. It's like a bitter green that's actually supposed to take, like, this is just a fun fact for those of you that do eat beans and that prepare beans in the same way that I do, which is typically from dry bean, soaked maybe a few days, maybe even to the point of sprouted, and then I cook them. But epazote is like a green that you can grow. It's a fast-growing green. It's incredibly good for you, and it also takes the gases out of beans. So you can put it into the water that you cook the beans with.
Mm-hmm.
And it also will increase the nutritional profile because it's so mineral rich. But that is actually a seed that I'm going to plant this weekend, which I'm excited about. That was a very random side note, but what are we growing? Pretty much all of the above, like what you said. We're not doing yellow watermelon this year, but we don't live on our farm, so we have a lot of things that we grow for the market on our farm. You know, the typical things, like you said, like squash and tomatoes and onions and garlic. We have a lot of garlic this year. A lot. I don't even know how my husband, I was like, are we going to be able to sell all that? Like, so much, but, you know, your normal farmer's market foods, produce that you would find. And then in the backyard, I focus on herbs, because it's just like taking your gardening to the next level when you grow your herbs, because the flavor is just so much better. Unless you're buying your spices from a place like Burlap and Barrel that sources from like small farmers and it's small batch, like the flavor that you're going to get out of the spices or herbs that you grow at home is just next level. So I love growing cilantro, tons of different types of basil. I've even done cinnamon basil, which is really fun. Thyme and lemon thyme. I love thyme so much. It's antiviral, really powerful. Oregano, sage, marjoram, tarragon. I'm sure I'm forgetting a ton of different things, but I have 3 beds, and I'm going to harvest them actually this weekend, and we're going to start doing some fall stuff like flowers and maybe some autumn colored sunflowers and stuff like that. But I love to harvest them all and then hang them upside down to dry, and then I will either use them, you know, whole, like, but just kind of crumble them up in dishes throughout the winter, or I will dehydrate them. We have a huge dehydrator, a commercial one that I used to make food, like vegan food for at the farmer's market. Don't do that anymore, but I dehydrate the herbs and then I'll grind them up and have my own spice blends, and it's so fun. You could give those away as gifts, or just keep it all for yourself. I'm pretty selfish with all the food we grow.
I know, but I have an abundance of like the tomatoes and stuff. I'll hook people up, but yeah, I'm the same way. Like I juice, you know, the herbs and fruits and veggies from my garden too, and it is such a difference on the flavor. It's absolutely amazing. And actually this year, it's so hard to find seeded grapes, and I actually have a local farmer that I work with in my CSA, And every year I get an order of like 80 to 100 pounds of Concord grapes when they come in October. And this year my husband and I were like, you know what? We're gonna grow our own. So we planted 5 Concord grape trees. So I know it's gonna take a while, but I'm so excited, and hopefully it'll yield 80 to 100 pounds. So I'm like, yes, I am so excited.
So
Yeah.
what do you do with it? Do you juice it all and then freeze it, or are you making jam with it? Like, what do you do with all
I'll
those
do
things?
a combo. Like usually, I mean, last year we ate and juiced all of them. I mean,
Yeah.
we went through all of them, Andy. It was
Oh yeah,
unbelievable. And you know, Concords, they are so strong and detoxifying,
they
and they're
really
so
are. Yeah.
powerful. I mean, I love that. And then also, I was going to ask you, what about elderberries? Do you guys grow those, right?
Yeah. We don't grow them, but we actually do sell elderberry syrup. That's something that I started making when I got, like, it was before I got pregnant, or probably, actually, I was pregnant. I started making it because I wanted to have a natural remedy for myself that didn't have all the crap at the grocery store. Like, all the grocery store elderberries are full of
Oh, yeah. Terrible.
just good stuff. So I started making my own with lots of different herbs, like mucilaginous herbs, like marshmallow root, and things that help with phlegm. And we do use a local raw honey. That's not vegan, but I do believe that honey can be medicinal and can be used to make medicine. So we don't grow the elderberries. We could. We do have elderberries planted, elderberry bushes planted, but the question is if we will keep them alive, because we've tried to grow blueberries and cherries, and we do have apples coming on right now, which is awesome. But sometimes when we don't get the irrigation out to, like, I think we have like 10 or so elderberry plants, and like on a farm you have to, like, it's a vast area that we're working with, and I don't know if they're gonna stay watered.
No, just do your best, right?
Yeah. So, elderberries are really powerful, and people can even grow those in pots if they want to go and get a little starter. But it's like a twig, and it will grow into a really awesome plant. The elder flowers are also very medicinal, so the whole elder plant is very medicinal. So that's a fun one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And we're the same when it comes to like buying things in bulk. We actually drive all the way up to the Blueberry Ranch. You should know about the Blueberry Ranch. Do you know about them? They're like near South Bend. Are you far from South Bend?
Yeah, that's on the other side of the state for me.
Okay, so you're on the other side.
Yeah.
Well, so we drive like whatever it is, 3 hours away.
Oh, is that where they have the Blueberry Fest?
That's like in Michigan. That's like in southern Michigan. They have a
No,
huge
there's one in Indiana too. My parents go to it. I think the town.
Yeah, no, it's a different blueberry farm, I think, where they have the festival.
Okay.
But the Blueberry Ranch, we go and we buy. I mean, my husband literally just came home today with a new chest freezer because we're gonna fill it. It's like a lot of blueberries.
I can imagine.
And there's a local farmer here that does seeded grapes, and like I'll just I got a ton of strawberries this year. Like, I like to get local, and what you were saying is like you ate them all. A fun motto is like when it comes to gardening and farming is eat what's in season until you cannot eat anymore. And then once you can't eat anymore, something new will be ready to harvest.
Yes.
And it's just like my favorite thing. I'm like, oh, that's so true, because like when you think you just cannot have another tomato, like the winter squash or something will come on, which is so exciting. It's really fun.
Yeah, and you guys, speaking of elderberry and elderberry syrup, that's another great way to have natural remedies into the household. I'm the same way. Like, I don't give my kids anything toxic like that. They don't have any kind of syrups or anything like that. They know, and I know as well. So that's another reason, another thing that you could learn through the Holistic Bundle that both of us are part of. It's in the link is in both of our bios, you guys. This is an incredible deal valued at $8,000 that we're able to offer you for $50. It has tons of herbal remedies, ways that you can get a sovereign herbal cabinet set up in your own home. So I encourage you guys to check that out if you have not already. All right, so Yeah, Stacey, I just want to thank you for your time today. I truly appreciate you. And if there's one thing that you could take away from this and tell the audience, what would it be?
Um, well, I mean, Evie, we talked about a lot of different things today. We talked about natural living and herbal medicine and plant-based nutrition and getting your kids on board and gardening. And I know it might seem really overwhelming. Holistic living is not just diet and exercise, which I said at the very beginning. It's a whole full body approach, mind, body, spirit. Take a bird's eye view of your life right now and ask yourself what you need, and where you from this conversation, where you might be like falling short, and start there. And just know that this truly is, I don't care how cliche it sounds, finding your ideal health is a complete journey. And for me, it's going to be forever long.
Yeah.
I will never stop growing and learning and following people. It's incredibly important. This is going to be my biggest takeaway. This is going to be it right here. Incredibly important to follow and hang out with and surround yourself with the people who are living the way that you want to live.
Yeah.
You become who you are with. So it's very important that if you want to succeed long term and you're making all of these efforts to eat clean and to make better decisions for your health, to be around or at least seek out people, even if it's online, seek out people who are going to help support you along this journey, making sure that you're not opening up this social media app and you're seeing a whole bunch of junky food because you chose to follow the tasty page one day because they were making something really fast, right? Like, and it was really cool. Yeah. Unsubscribe from those things and subscribe to people, all the people in the bundle. I think that that's really a good place to start. It's to follow everybody in the bundle to make sure that you stay on track. Because those subconscious messages, even if you don't think it's making an impact, it totally is. Because what you see every day will really impact you long term.
Absolutely. Good. I love that. All right, you guys. Well, you know what? If you are not following Stacey, give her a follow. I'm going to publish this and I'll tag her as well. And thank you for your time, Stacey. And yes, we'll have to look forward to meeting in real life one day.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like, we've got to keep out of me. So yes. I'm so thankful for this bundle that we got to connect. So yes. Take care, everyone. Take care, Evie.
Thank you. Bye-bye.